guys, thanks so much for tuning in again with me today on the SHWeddings YouTube channel. I hope that you're having a great week so far. Tomorrow's Friday, so yay! I wanted to do a video about how you can afford a wedding coordinator. At the very least, a day of coordinator. I've talked in the past about the difference between a full coordinator, well, a full wedding planner, and then a day of coordinator. And definitely, hands down, for most people, day of coordinator is the way to go. But a lot of people don't seem to understand the importance of having someone there on the day of the wedding to kind of take over everything for you. And honestly, I would say 80% of my consultations, the scenario is they were not budgeting for a day of coordinator, and all of a sudden, a few months before their wedding, they realize that they need one, and now they need to find some way to work this into their budget. And that's difficult. So I kind of wanted to talk today a little bit about how you can afford a day of coordinator, and I did do a blog entry about this a while ago on my Elegant Owl blog, and I will post that direct link down below for you guys so you can see that if you're interested. But I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. Here's the big secret on how you can afford a day of coordinator, about how anyone can afford a day of coordinator, and it's as simple as just budget for it right from the beginning. A while back, I think one of my very first videos I ever did was called Picking Priorities for Your Wedding. And I honestly just do not understand, if you're putting a lot of money and effort into a wedding, if you are, inviting guests and having a reception and all that, why one of your biggest priorities wouldn't be actually enjoying your wedding day. It just kind of, to me, seems like a no-brainer, because I know that for myself, I'm a super organized person, and honestly, so is Josh. I had a lot of help from Josh when we were planning our own wedding. We had everything under control. We had timelines. We were never rushing to get anything done. Like, we were just really organized, and I'm also a very controlling person. Surprise, surprise, type A personality here. But from the beginning, one of the very first vendors we booked was our coordinator, and I do not regret that decision one single bit. She was worth every single penny we paid her, and she really allowed us to just completely and fully enjoy our wedding day. And so because we budgeted for her right from the get-go, she was incorporated into our original budget, there was never a question on if we could actually afford to hire someone to help us out on the wedding day or not. So that is the big secret. And if you guys have watched my other videos, I've probably also alluded to the fact numerous times that I am not a fan or advocate of putting your friends and family members to work on the day of the wedding. I just really feel like a wedding day is also a celebration for them as well, and they should be relaxing and enjoying the day and celebrating right along with you. So no one on the day of the wedding that's involved with the wedding should be assembling centerpieces or putting out favors or, setting up the chairs for the ceremony or anything like that. So I really think that it's so important to hand all that stuff over to a wedding day coordinator. I know I've talked in the past a little bit about venue coordinators as well, and they're great. Trust me, we had a great venue coordinator at where we got married. It was a hotel and resort, and we loved her. She was very on top of things, but just from speaking from experience as well, not all venue coordinators are going to be easy to work with, and 99% of them also leave right in the middle of your reception or shortly after your reception has started, because they're usually there working all day, and then by the time your reception rolls around, it's time for them to go home because they are salaried employees. So yeah, so they're really not committed fully to your entire day, whereas a day of coordinator is there from start to finish. Usually with SHWeddings, at least, we're the first to arrive and the last to leave, and that's the way it was for our coordinator as well. That's pretty common. So that's just one of the reasons I really recommend that you guys hire a day of coordinator. And I honestly, I'm not even making this video from a business perspective. Like, yes, I know that this is my business, and obviously this is how I make a living, and so of course I want to be promoting this and explaining why brides need this. I'm actually kind of doing this video more from a former bride's perspective. It's really the best piece of advice that I can give to any bride. Hire a day of coordinator. And everyone that I've talked to from a non-business perspective and blogs that I've read, especially on Wedding Bee, if you guys follow the bee bloggers on Wedding Bee, every single one that hired a day of coordinator will say, hands down, it was the best decision they ever made. So I really strongly recommend going through some posts about that as well if you're not fully convinced yet. But yeah, so that's my little spiel about why you should hire a day of coordinator. I get so many brides, unfortunately, that will, during my consultation, be like, well, we didn't originally budget for a wedding coordinator, and now we're scrambling to kind of find the funds to make it happen, because now we're realizing that above all, that's probably one of the most important things. It's so easy to cut back on things like invitations and flowers and stuff like that, whereas you really want to set aside a good amount of money for your coordinator. And I'm not saying that most coordinators are really expensive either. I know that I'm pretty reasonably priced because I am just starting out in the business, trying to get lots of experience. But I mean, even the high-end ones, you're probably not going to want to budget more tops. Like, this is like high-end wedding coordinator, $1,500. And I just want to kind of explain pricing a little bit as well. If you think about your other vendors that you're hiring, keep in mind that wedding coordinators are also there from start to finish as well. And we're also doing a lot of back-end work prior as well. We're creating timelines for you, we're visiting your venue, we're talking to you via email, meeting with you in person, contacting your vendors, just doing a lot of back-end work ahead of time as well. So prior to the wedding date, before any of that work actually begins on the wedding day, we've already done a lot for you. And not to mention that we are the first to arrive on the wedding day and the last to leave. So we are putting in a lot of hours. So when you think about it, let's say average price for day of coordinator that's reasonably established in the industry, it's like $1,000. I mean, if you're paying a lot more for your photographer, your DJ, your venue, your florist, your cake baker, all that stuff, the cost isn't really that much. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, just some perspective to kind of think about when you are budgeting for your coordinator, whether or not you think it's worth it and all that fun stuff. So I hope that helps you guys. And like I said, guys, I'm really not making this video from a business perspective. I'm just honestly making it as a former bride. I just cannot tell you how amazing our wedding was, just because I did not have to think about a single thing, and I knew that I wasn't putting my family members or my friends or whoever to work on that day. So it was just easy peasy, and it was totally 100% worth it. So if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I hope that was useful for you, or that maybe it kind of gave you a little bit more perspective on why you should hire this type of vendor or not. So I hope that you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!